It's Farid here for Lil Pop Studios, the channel where we upload weekly videos on simple tutorials about Premiere Pro, After Effects, and a little bit of Photoshop. Last week, I recreated an effect from the legendary Goku, and when I had the opportunity to send it to him, he was like, "Wow, thank you, sir." Now, this week we are back to learning. Now, let's check out the topics for this week. This week, we are going to be talking about adding titles, importing motion graphics templates, and when I talk about titles, I mean cinematic ones, you understand? And we're going to be talking about putting videos inside text. Don't let that confuse you. When we get there, you'll understand. Then, if time permits, we're going to do a bonus effect, a bonus one. Yeah, a bonus effect. So without further ado, let's roll up the intro and fire up into Premiere Pro. So we are in Premiere Pro now, and let's not waste any time. You know, I already got my footages from MoGrt, where MoGrt is an online library, a free online library where you can get free stock videos, Premiere Pro templates, After Effects templates, openers, MoGrt files, and all those stuff. I'll leave a link in the description for us to check it out. So now let's move into how to create cinematic titles. And now, before we have to create a cinematic title, we have to create a title for sure. So before we can create a title, we first go into File, New, find the title here, legacy title. Then we set it how we want it to be. So 1920 by 1080, and it's okay. So we can name it as Intro. There we go. Okay. So a dialog box pops up right now, and I'm going to show you what everything does in here, but I'm going to be kind of fast because we've learned most of the things behind. Now these here are the tools which I don't need to explain. These are shapes. Here are the pen tools, and these are the path typing tool, or that's the path typing tool. Now this here are the type tools. This is the type tool itself, and this is the vertical type tool. So as the line goes down, it means it types downwards. You understand me? Now this here is a selection, and this is the rotation. This here, they mean alignment. This one aligns it to the far left, this to the far top, this in the center, that's going to be the vertical center, this in the horizontal center, this to the far right, and this to the far down. And this also does the same thing. Now distribution is also the same thing as just this alignment, so I don't need to talk about it. Now when we move in here, we have to type something before all these are activated. We have transform, properties, distort, fill, strokes, and background. You can see because we've not added something, but let's say we can increase it from here, and we can see some things. Here we have stroke, transform, properties, distort, and background. So before we can start with all these, we first need to create our text, and that's by activating this tool here and clicking here. So go like introduction. When we are done, we just activate the move tool, bring this, so we can make it in the horizontal center by clicking this, and in the vertical by this. So these here allow me to change the font family, the font type. This here is whether to make the font underlined or not. This is the size. This is the vertical spacing, or what they call kerning. So if I increase this, it gives me some vertical spacing, some horizontal spacing. This gives me vertical spacing because there are no two I've not typed something. Okay, let me pick the type 2 and add 2 MoGrt. So when I drag this, it brings down, so I don't need that one there, and I'll have to change my font to what I want it to be. Or let me change my font to symbol. I like this font a lot. Matric. So then I can increase my size, then align it horizontally and vertically. Then here with the opacity, it reduces and increases the opacity too. Here is the X position, Y position, the width and the height. You don't usually have to touch that. You have to just transform your objects to here, so you can make it 340. Now we're back, and we can play with all these values here, but I would like to play with all these values. I'd just like to add another text. Let's say the tale of a vengeful serial killer. I can reduce the size, align it this way, bring it down. I don't think serial killer. So I can give this a current, bring it back to the center. So this is what we have: Sinbad, the tale of the revengeful serial killer. So now with the color, in order to make it look cinematic, we don't just have to make it so boring. And in the color panel too, we have the fill type. That's going to be linear gradient, radial gradient, 4-color gradient, bevel, illuminate, and ghost. So I'll like linear gradient, and I'll take it from a dark or like faded white into white itself, or let's see a faded red, something like this, to show danger or something, to a much deeper red. This kind of looks cool. Let's bring this one back. Let's give this kind of some more red. Now this looks cool. Now this looks more cinematic, and this kind of fits the font here. You understand me? So we can just close this, and our title will be created here. So now let's add this sunset footage. This here. So when we give it a playback, it's just something like this. Now you see, it's a static shot. So in order to make something look cinematic, it doesn't just have to be kind of standing like that. It has to kind of have some motion to make it, to give it focus. You understand me? So let's drag our Sinbad into this, and this is what it is: Sinbad, the tale of the revengeful killer. Now look at how it kind of is like, it just appears and it just stands there. So it doesn't need to be that way. Now what we need to do is we need to check the duration of how we want our Sinbad to last. You understand me? So let's go to speed and duration, and we can see we want it to last for 6 seconds. So it kind of moves this way. So we want it to come in when this one is also coming in. So we can start, in order to give it some motion, we can use some zooming effects. So we can start at this point here, and go into the effects panel. Then we can make the scale of this at this point here. We can make it let's say 70 at that point. So we can create a keyframe there, even though it's not appearing there, and we can move in to the end 1 frame backwards, and we can bring the frame back to 100. So with this two, we can create a keyframe here and make it 70. Or you see, we move this we scaled this up by 30%, so we need to scale this down by 30% too. So we can make it 130 here. I'm sorry, we'll have to make this value a lower value, so we can make this, let's leave this as 100. Then at this point we'll have to make it 130. So when we give it a playback, it goes like this. So this gives us some kind of a cinematic Sinbad look. Now let's go in, ease this in, ease this into. Let's ease this one in. We can see that the keyframe, so there's no problem with that. Now let's get into the effects and get the Gaussian blur effect. So we drag it to the intro here. Now we go to the start of where Sinbad appears. This is start. So we can create a keyframe where we blur this till it's no longer seen. Something like this. Let's see, 900. Then we move about 5 keyframes. That's just by pressing the arrow key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's say 7, 6, 7. Then we bring this. Sorry, we have to create a keyframe there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we bring this back to normal. Then we go to the last part. That's 1 keyframe backwards first. Then 1, 2. Sorry. Let's go back. 1 keyframe backwards. And we make the blurriness 900. Then we come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and bring this back to normal. So this is what we have here. Then it goes. So in order to make it look more cinematic and not that kind of it just comes in and goes out and all this stuff, we can just add a default transition and rather make it so small. Go to the beginning to add a default transition and make it so small. Then it goes. So now the first thing has been done. We have successfully created the cinematic title. Now let's import a MoGrt file. Most of my MoGrt files here are already imported, so I'm just going to do a demonstration. Now first, here is where you need to go, but usually you have to be working in the essential graphics panel, so you can go in there. That will make it easier for you. Then this is what you do. You install a motion graphics template here. So when you click here, it opens wherever your stuff are. You understand me? So this here is one MoGrt file I just created, and I'll teach you how to create a MoGrt file. I just created a MoGrt file here, so I can click on it to open, and it's already existing, so I can just overwrite it and go in and look for it. But I can use any of Adobe's default MoGrt files. Let's say I even downloaded some, and I can leave you a link to Envato Elements and MoGrt. You can get motion graphic templates there. So let's say these, I downloaded these from a website. So when I drag it into here, I'll have to wait. So it kind of looks too big, so we have to scale it to frame size. Then it goes well. So when we give it a playback, this is how it goes. So let's add a footage in order to make it longer. Let's add something like this and give it a default transition. it's no problem. So we have something like this, but this here kind of blends in with the white here. So let's take this one off and get this one here. So we have to scale this one to frame size. Now let's add a default transition, but let's bring this one this way, included. So now when we are in the essential graphics panel now, it gives us the chance to edit all these. So we can say death is not included, then it changes it immediately. So we can change our color to this kind of pink, to this here. Okay, now let's make it kind of bright. Okay, then it's cool. Now importing MoGrt files and all this stuff, we are done with that. So we can cut. Okay, let's say it ended at a point behind, so we can cut here by pressing Ctrl key and delete this part out. Then we can now create our MoGrt file. So now, in order to create our MoGrt file, let's go back to the assembly or effects, any panel you want, or you can even create your panels on your own. Now I'll pick the type tool, click on anywhere here. Let's see, okay, Farid. Pick up my move tool, increase it this way, and I can change my font to clean font, so I can leave it this way. Then I can align it vertically, horizontally, and with the fill, let me give it a red one too here. Then let me add a stroke, a white stroke, so I can give a vertical interval and bring it back to the center again. So I can create some motion with keyframes too. So let's say here, you can give a scale point here. Then I can give at least 120. Then I can bring, let's say I'll make this one rather somewhere like this. Then with the position, I can go this way, create a keyframe, move forward in time to this part, and bring it back to normal. So this is what it kind of gives us. And it stands there and moves. So now you can export this as a motion graphics template. You just need to play with your values however you want it. Then right click, and this is it here, export as motion graphics template. So I can export it, and I'll choose what I want it to be, local drive, and I can browse, find whatever I want it to be. Let's say here, and I select the folder. Then okay, that's the name of it. I can give it a name, let's say tutorial. Okay, and we just have to wait a bit, and it's done. It's been exported. So we can add some music which I already exported, I already downloaded. And let's say moving, and I'll take this out and bring it in here, bring this out, then okay. Now I think we're done with adding our cinematic titles and importing MoGrt files and even exporting them. So we can now start putting our videos inside the text. So let me cut this here, it's okay, and delete this. Let me extend our music a little bit so I can draw, or I can bring this video in here. I want to make sure there's no spaces in between them. Okay, so we'll have to scale this to frame size and add, let's say, a default transition. So let's make this. Let's go into the effects panel. Now let's make this center add to cut. Let's let this one go out this way. So now, in order to do this, we first have to type something. So let's type something in here. Hello Pop Studios. Then we move in here, change our font size, our fonts and everything. We can play around with the settings. So we can increase it this way, align it horizontally and vertically. So this is what we have here. Now this is the video here, and here is the video line. Like this, this is on the timeline 1. That's what I like to call it, and this here is on the timeline 2. This is 3. So you have V1, V2, V3. Understand me? So all you're going to do is we're going to bring this on top and bring this one down. So we go into the effects panel, find what we call the track mat. The track mat key, then we add it to the text. Now find out that we're in video 2 here. We need this to appear inside here, so we go into the track mat. That's what it is. The effects for the track mat. Where is it? Then we choose video 2 here. Now there's no problem with this. We only need to change this to matte luma, and this is what we get here. Now I think we're good, so we can put this inside our video animation, and when you do some work or you add some more effort in yours, we can end up with something like this. I hope this video helped you a lot, and please, if this is your first time watching me, consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell, and please leave a like on the video and give me a comment in the comment section. And next week we are going to create a promo video, a very professional promo video. Yeah, a very professional promo video. So stay cool. Bye.